So Hare Krishna. So we'll start our session by dedicating this to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON. And today we'll be continuing with chapter 2. Yeah. So like you, by now we have gone through this slide quite many times. So this captures the first part, so we divided Gita into 3 parts. The first part is Karma Yoga. The last part is the Jnana Yoga. And, the middle part is the Bhakti Yoga, which has that jewel, right? The diamond ring. So this is the first part, which is Karma Yoga, which is the bottom of that jewelry box. And this consists of the first 6 chapters of Gita. And today we will be continuing with the second chapter, which is called as the contents of Gita summarized. So last time we covered the second part of second chapter, which was Gyan and Sankhya, which was analyzing the body and the soul, and how Krishna addresses, the first reason which Arjuna gives, which is the compassion. He was compassionate, and that was one of the first reasons he gave not to fight. So how Krishna, responds him by providing this analysis of matter and spirit. Today we'll be covering the third part of the second chapter, which is Sakam Karma. Yeah. So Sakam Karma is nothing but performing our prescribed duties. Yeah. That gives us enjoyment. Yeah? So now before we step into the third part, which is Sakam Karma. So like you can see here, further, the next topic is Nishkam Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga. Yeah. So we will just walk through, how Krishna slowly, gradually elevates Arjuna, right? So Krishna in this chapter, the name is Contents of Gita Summarized. So it has the overall summary of the overall Gita in short, right? So Krishna is giving us the flavor of the key topics which are covered in due course, right? So Krishna will be going through now with Arjuna being depressed. He will be going through a gradual elevation for Arjuna. Yeah. And for us to understand that gradual elevation, it will be good to first understand the yoga ladder. Yeah. So we'll be talking about different terms, like Sakam Karma Yoga or Nishkam Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Dhyan Yoga. So we need to understand what exactly are each of those. Yeah. And where do they sit in the ladder, in the yoga ladder. Yeah. And understanding how all of them are connected, to the topmost yoga here in the ladder, like you can see, the Bhakti Yoga. Yeah. So we will walk through this ladder with each of these. Yeah. So, so the yoga ladder, actually, it traces the, we will see as we go up the yoga ladder, that how it traces the detachment from matter. Yeah. And consecutively, it starts attaching towards the absolute truth, which is, Krishna. Yeah. And this absolute truth, we know it is in 3 aspects, right? The Brahman realization, the Paramatma, and the Bhagavan, right? So we'll see even where, which part of yoga ladder, has, these 3 aspects of absolute truth realization. So like you can see here in the screen, the bottommost here, which is not part of the yoga ladder, is the red one, sinful actions, right? And the first step of the yoga ladder is called as Karma Yoga, right? And further to Karma Yoga, we see Jnana Yoga, and then Dhyan Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, right? And Bhakti Yoga, as we can see, is the topmost in the ladder. So it is the epitome, top yoga, right? Now, let's start with the first one, which is outside the ladder, because we need to understand the difference as, what even falls within the ladder or not, right? So first one here is sinful actions, right? Which is, I'll again repeat, it is not part of the yoga ladder, right? So let's start. So sinful actions. Now, this is like a Duryodhana category of people, right? And they are completely, they act against scriptures. They don't follow Vedas. Yeah, they don't follow our scriptures. And like I said, it is not part of the Yoga ladder. Now, majority of people in Kali Yuga, we see that they fall in this category, right? We see people doing all the kind of actions which are, against our scriptures. Yeah. And people in this category, they have only one factor in their mind. And what is that? That their self-enjoyment. They want to fulfill their sense gratification. Doesn't matter whether it is a right or wrong. It's to keep themselves satisfied. Yeah, they enjoy. They want to enjoy, and because they want to enjoy, they don't want to follow. They keep themselves on the top, right? So that is the primary thing, which is their sense gratification or their self-enjoyment. Okay? Now, the category of, we keep hearing that there are few category of people who are called as atheist, right? They don't believe in God, right? So they are the ones, they fall into this as well, right? So that's about the sinful action, where the primary aim is sense gratification, sense gratification. Now moving to the next, right? Next is called as karma kanda and sakam karma, right? So this also you do not find in the yoga ladder, because we know that the yoga ladder starts with something called as karma yoga, right? So karma kanda or sakam karma, and this is the section what we will be covering today. Not exactly this, but I'll say a bit of difference in there. But these people, they act according to scriptures. Yeah, they believe in scriptures, and we see that quite a lot of heavy chunk of population, within India especially, we see that they fall under this category. In karma kanda again, their aim is the same as the sinful action category people, but so what is the same thing? So they're in karma kanda also, their primary aim is to satisfy their own sense gratification, yeah, to enjoy, yeah. So, but this is, they act according to the scripture. That's the major difference. Yeah. So something like, I can give an example which you can correlate is like, we see so many different kind of, rituals people follow, right? Yajnas and all. So we see how, the mindset quite, we see is that, let me perform this so that I get something back, So it's like, I'll get, I'll get a lot of wealth or health or, fame. So there is, they do the process for their own sense gratification, but as per the scriptures, right? And we know that Vedas are something which, which can be, which has covering for all different kind of categories of people, because Vedas also are something to go for, why is it addressing different category of people, so that slowly, gradually, they can be elevated, right, to bhakti, right? So to understanding that there is a spring. So but these category of people, even though they follow scriptures, because they follow it for their sense gratification, they do not have any desire for spiritual advancement. Yeah. So this is also not a yoga system. Yeah. But the good thing here, what we see is these people follow the scriptural direction, right? They adhere to scripture, and adhering to scriptures and doing something, this is a starting point for the journey in spiritual practice. At least, believe in Vedas, have that faith in our scriptures, right? At this time point, a person will be attached to both, to work, yeah, to do that activity, and also attached for the results of the activity, right? Like I gave the example that, when they perform some rituals, so that they are doing the work, but in return, they are expecting the results back, right? And because they are following Vedas, what is the key thing, what is the benefit here is that these people they get to go to higher planets after the death. Yeah. But when we say higher planets, it's like, what we say usually, Swarga, so that these are the higher planets than Earth. So because they have followed as per the Vedas, they go to higher planets. But going to just higher planets would not save them from the cycle of birth and death. Because even in Swarga, there is a duration of time. It might be more than what we have on Earth. But once that account of punya or good deeds go down, you will come back to Earth, right? So we will come back to it. So, so that's why the cycle of birth and death does not finish, right? So our attempt, as devotees should be to go back to Krishna. Why? To go back to Godhead, because only that is where, we will get rid of this birth and death cycle. We will not fall down back to. Yeah. And we have a kind of map today which we'll share as how, as per, how where Earth is and how these higher planets are placed. Yeah. I'll share this during the course today as well. Now, one thing we need to be clear here is the term here, karma kanda or sakam karma. It does not end with a word called as yoga, right? So what is the difference between the next slide? We will go and we'll start the first rung of the ladder, which is karma yoga, right? We see here that there is karma yoga is the first rung of the ladder, right? So what is the difference between karma yoga and karma kanda, right? Because yoga is not here, right? Now, what is yoga? Does anyone know?
Yoga can call as a meditation as well.
Right. So why do we do that? So thank you, Jyoti. So yes, why do we do meditation? Because we want to connect with the Supreme.
Yes. Yes.
So yoga is, what yoga word means is that to establish, that connectivity, with Krishna. That is the definition of yoga as per our scriptures. Right? Now we will, and here when we say karma kanda, it does not have yoga, so it does not connect. There is nothing connection with the Supreme, and that means it is only for self, which we learned, right? Karma kanda or sakam karma is for self. Okay. Now, if we move to next section, and like I said, I'll just come back again that we will see how Krishna first asks Arjuna to perform at least sakam karma, right? And then he slowly during the course in Gita, he uplifts him from the ladder or, from sakam karma to karma yoga to the, bhakti yoga. We'll see that, how Krishna slowly uplifts as we go through the chapters in Bhagavad Gita, right? So just moving next then. So now the word yoga is here, right? So because it is something to do with connecting with Krishna, it is the first rung of the ladder. Okay. Now, in this ladder, people, because they are connected with Krishna, we see the name as karma, right? So karma means action, right? Now, action in here is there, yeah? Karma is there. So that means that they are attached to work, right? But they are detached to results of work. Okay. So karma yoga or nishkam karma yoga, the name here, when we see karma yoga, usually in Bhagavad Gita, we'll see in different places. So it refers to nishkam karma yoga. Nishkam means, what does that word mean? That no attachment to results. Yeah. Nishkam. Yeah. No attachment to kama is results, right? And Karma is action, yoga. Yeah. So the category of the people here, they are attached to the work, but detached to the results of the work. Okay. And because they are detached to the results of the work, their mind is peaceful. Now, they develop, right, detachment to the results. So the first step here, what we see in the yoga ladder is detachment to the results of action, right? It's a very important juncture in yoga ladder. Yeah. And now, when we say, why are they peaceful while the mind is peaceful? Because they are doing work. They are attached to the work. They are doing it, but they are detached to the results, right? They are not very much bothered. For example, in the work culture, we'll see that, someone who is really satisfied with just getting the annual increment of salary, it doesn't matter whether, it is increased to a certain percentage or not, they just do their work, the right way. Yeah. And also, they are not really lingering around promotions. They are not looking for results, but they do their work sincerely. They're not looking for fame as a result. If we do something with Karma Kanda people, when they do something, they expect a result, right? I should get name, fame, wealth, different factors. But with here, they do the work, for Krishna without any results. They do the work. Yes. For example, say someone serving in the temple. Yeah. We give this example often that, see someone is, who does things like someone has come to prepare the bhoga for, Krishna, yeah, in the temple. Now this person comes and, he cooks and he goes, so that means, and he is really attached to that, but it doesn't matter whether people have the prasadam, they praise, he's not expecting something out of it, right? But this person there is a slight thing here that this person, when it comes to service to Krishna, he's really attached to just cook. If you ask the person to do some other services, they might not be open. Why? Because they are attached to that work. Okay. They are not attached to result, but to that particular work. Yeah. So this is how, we can relate this as an example where, they cook and they cook it for the Lord, but they don't expect the results. Whereas Karma Kanda people, maybe when they cook, they are they are meditating as, oh, wow, it will come out really well. I will hear praises from people, that this is so amazing. So it's more of self-praise and self-interest in Karma Kanda. In Karma Yoga, it is, it is for the, it is yoga, right? It is connected to Krishna. So they are attached to that. Okay. So moving to, the next rung of the ladder, which is Jnana Yoga, right? Now, the word Gyan here, right? So that means knowledge, right? Now, people here, they are in search of the absolute truth, okay? And can somebody tell me the 3 aspects of absolute truth? We have done this quite a lot of times now. The 3 aspects of absolute truth.
Yes,
Brahman.
Yeah. Brahman, I heard Paramatma and
Bhagwan.
thank you. So yes, Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan. And you can see here in the picture, we have Brahman realization, right? So Jnana Yogis, they are in search of absolute truth. They have that, their mind, is purified. And they are in, they are, remember that we are progressively climbing this yoga ladder, right? We did Karma Yoga and now we are doing Jnana Yoga, right? So person here wants to find who is the absolute truth. They have that, and they are in verge of finding the absolute. Yeah. But they perform no work. They just leave everything and they don't perform work, and they are not even attached to results. So if they are not doing the work, then from where will the results come, right? So they perform no action. And that's why we have mentioned here that they have inclination towards not doing any action. Okay. They, their thought process is that, if we perform action, then we have a chance of doing some mistake, right? So better than that, avoid the doing any action only. This will at least give me peace in mind to some extent. But one of the struggle there is also, they definitely have the knowledge of, spirit and matter. Yeah. They are, they have a good knowledge about that. That is their aim, but they endeavor on their own, studying the scriptures on their own without a bona fide master or guidance. Yeah. It is like if somebody wants to become an engineer, they try to do it on their own without going to the engineering college, or same with doctors, right? So there is a struggle. They read the scriptures, but the endeavor is on their own. Yeah. So, but with the degree of detachment they have, because they are not doing work, right? They are not doing any action. So they are detached, right? So because of the degree of detachment and the knowledge of spirit and matter they have, their mind becomes purified. Okay. They know that, what also they think is that anything in this material world is material. It is performed under this material nature, right? So why should we do any action? That is also their thought process. But in today's world, when we see something like this, back then, back in previous yugas, like Satyuga, we had the atmosphere, environment for them to really perform this, right? But this needs, for this to perform, we need a pure environment. But in this yuga, can we get, such a facility? We see quite a lot of people, they call themselves as, I am, this rishi, that rishi, but, we need to be sure that, they have the right knowledge, they are connected, because they tend to be quite a lot of times. We see later in the chapters of Gita how Krishna calls such people as pretenders also. There are category of people whom he calls pretender, who are from inside, they want to enjoy, they want to enjoy the sense gratification. They want to self-enjoy, right? But outside they show that, oh, I am, I'm fully detached. I'm, that level. So, so something like Jnana Yoga, we need to have a pure environment, which lacks right now. Yeah. So there is more struggle right now when it comes to, with this material world. And what is their aim of Jnana Yogis? It's like I said, Brahman realization, the effulgence coming out of Krishna. That is their aim. That is where they reach. Okay. So I will be revising. I have a slide in the end. I know it is a little bit too much to grasp for the first time, but we have tried to make it easier to follow, after we finish the rungs of the ladder, to show you what is the difference between each aspect. Yeah. So the next rung of the ladder we see is Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga is also called as Ashtanga Yoga. And this many of you might have heard. This is the most famous in today's world. They have so much advertisement that we provide this yoga practice, yoga centers, Ashtanga Yoga. There is a lot of propaganda. Now Krishna, dedicates one full chapter called as Ashtanga Yoga or Dhyana Yoga, which is the 6th chapter in Bhagavad Gita, which clearly he states that this is, why is it called Ashtanga? Because it is 8-fold system. There are 8 steps or degrees in the yoga system. That's why it's called as Ashtanga Yoga. Yeah? Now, which are these 8? We will go through this, don't worry, but I'm just giving you an idea. So it is like Yama, Niyama, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So it starts with something called as yama and niyam. Yama means don't, things which you shouldn't do, and niyama is something which you should do, something which we should follow, right? Now, this is, Krishna clearly says, this is the first stage of Ashtanga Yoga. You have to first get rid of everything which you shouldn't be doing and do what needs to be done. You know, like we know what are the don'ts are the, we need to follow we should not do the, do's are the regulative principles, right? We learned that also, the 4 regulative. So, but in today's world, we see 90% of people going to these yoga classes, they directly jump into the 3rd step of the Ashtanga Yoga, which is asana and pranayama, directly. They would go to the classes and then come back home and continue with their sinful actions. They don't follow the yama and niyam, right? So the 3rd step here is asana and pranayama, where you control the body and mind. Yeah. Then the 5th stage is pratyahar, right? It is like separating our senses with sense objects, controlling us. Yeah. Senses. So we have, we'll go in detail later on when we reach chapter 6, but then we have dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Yeah, these are the progressive stages of meditation, because Ashtanga Yoga, the key characteristic is meditation. And again, like Dhyan yogis, they do it in their own endeavor. And samadhi is the topmost in Ashtanga Yoga. Samadhi is where someone who becomes totally absorbed in supreme. And what aspect of absolute truth do they, have in? It is, you can see in the picture, the Paramatma form. Okay. So Paramatma form is, for Ashtanga yogis. Okay. Now, to perform Ashtanga Yoga, actually, we'll see in 6 chapters that Krishna says there are certain prerequisites which are basically needed, right? So, so it's like, they have to have, they should sit on kushagras, they should sit at a certain level, they should sit in a forest, there are certain requirements. But in today's world, again, where can we get that facility, right? So, and after Dhyana Yoga, we see the topmost is Bhakti Yoga. Now, Krishna in 6th chapter, Dhyana Yoga chapter, we see that he explains the whole thing about Ashtanga Yoga. And the last verse, 47th verse of 6th chapter, Krishna concludes saying, there's a shloka called as Yogi Namapi Sarvesha, Madhate Nantaratma, Shraddhavan Bhajate Yonam, Same Yukto Tam. So he highlights that it is the Shraddha, it is the Bhakti only. He explains about Ashtanga Yoga, and in the end, he changes the gear and he says that it is only through Bhakti a person can approach me, right, reach me. Yeah. So that is the conclusion he gives for this chapter. Okay. So for Ashtanga Yoga, we have just given one example here. A very famous sage called as Saubari Muni. Yeah. So he practiced Ashtanga Yoga for hundreds of years. He belonged to Satyug. Yeah. He performed under the water for many, hundreds of years. Yeah? And he was so, he was so much into it. But thing is that it's severe penance to your body, mind, right? But, and what happened was that he just got his mind got diverted even after so many hundreds of years of penance by just looking at a pair of fish, with each other. So an intercourse between the 2 fishes that diverted him, and he fell down, right? So it is more or less impossible for this age. And we also see in 6th chapter when Krishna is explaining about the system, Arjuna himself says, we have mentioned this in the 9 sessions, that he accepts that it is, he says, Krishna, it is easy for me to control the wind, but I cannot control the mind. And Krishna acknowledges. When Krishna acknowledges, we can also understand, how difficult it must be, right? So now with all these ladders, we want to go through the staircase of these each rungs of the ladder, or we want to take a lift? How many of us, when we are living in apartments, we opt for stairs than lift? I would really doubt it. So we need to, the lift, there is a lift system. Even we don't need to cross each of these ladders. We can go from Karma Yoga to Bhakti Yoga. And that is the lift system. Okay, so this is a very special aspect of Bhakti. It is easy, it is less laborious, and it is faster to reach Krishna. Because Bhakti, the word itself, what do you mean by Bhakti? Bhakti means devotional love. The word Bhakti. Yeah. So Bhakti means devotional love, and yoga, we said, it is linking to God. Right? So, and we all know, in love, how we are selfless. The person whom we love, we can stretch above and beyond, right? We don't think about ourselves. We become selfless. Yeah. And we don't give prominence to our own desires. We give prominence to the beloved one first, right? So that is what is Bhakti, right? And Bhakti Yoga is having that devotional love to Krishna. So full connection with Krishna, right? A real love, eternal love. Right? Now this makes the Bhakti Yoga a very perfection stage. Okay. So Krishna, I'm just picking up two important verses from Bhagavad Gita here, where Krishna highlights this. He has highlighted in many places as we go. Bhakti Yoga is the quickest means to come to and the only means. But just I want to pick up these two. So in 10.10, 10 chapter 10th verse, he mentions that to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. And that's why we say, if we keep continuing our spiritual practice, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Yeah. So if we keep doing that with love, continuing our practice, we see that Krishna he removes that dust from us. It starts clearing. He starts giving us more understanding by which we can go to him. And this is, Bhakti is not science, in a way. It is not experimental. You try it first. If it works with you, it is more experiential. We experience it within, because it is a journey within us. It's not outside us. Okay. So it's very important to understand. Yeah. And in 12th chapter, 6th and 7th shloka, Krishna highlights that, that he himself personally comes and picks up his devotees. So swift deliverer, right? But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having their minds fixed upon me, O son of Pratha, for them, I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Okay, so conscious of time, I'll just move ahead. So we learned what are the primary focus of each different yoga practices in yoga ladder. So these are the summary slides for the yoga ladder from here on. So it is for Jnana Yogis, it is Brahman realization, the effulgence coming out of Krishna. We gave this example from the sunlight. Okay. Dhyan Yogis, it is Paramatma form. Paramatma is the super soul in each and every atom. Okay. So this is the sun disk which we compared to. And then Bhakti Yogi is the one who has the personal form, right, of Krishna, which is Bhagwan form. Okay, which is the sun god in that, which we, right? So just going how we can reach the top, to Krishna, in this lovely cloud. So the first stage we learned, the bottom, it is not part of the yoga ladder, Karma Kanda. So what is here? Karmakanda, these are fruitative workers. They expect the fruits. Yeah. They perform the rituals and they go to heavenly planets. Yeah. Why? They have their sense gratification according to the scriptures. Okay. We have not put here sinful actions because we don't want to be there, right? So let's not think more, contemplate more about it. So which is against scriptures. So we'll start with something which is accordance with scriptures, because even by performing this, it gradually purifies one person. Yeah. So after this comes now Sakam Karma Yoga. Now the first one was Karma Kanda or Sakam Karma. What is new here, you can see, is Sakam Karma Yoga. Now yoga is added, right? So here again, the factor of doing the work is there. Results of work is also expected, but the person knows, Krishna is supreme and approaches God, okay, by regulating their sense gratification as per the scriptures, okay. But the clarification is there. In Karma Kanda and Sakam Karma, it is Vedas. They will go to different demigods, it's yeah. So it is more on quick fruits, right? But we can also approach Krishna with the results. Krishna says this in 12 chapters. So Sakam Karma Yoga is with that. Then comes our Karma Yoga. So actually Karma Yoga can be Nishkam Karma Yoga or Sakam Karma Yoga. Yeah. But several places we will see in Bhagavad Gita that when Krishna mentions Karma Yoga, it is mainly Nishkam Karma Yoga. Okay. So we will highlight those shlokas where it is, so that it is not misinterpreted. So Nishkam Karma Yogas are, they do the work, but they are not attached to the fruits of the work. Okay. And they do the work for Krishna. Then comes Dhyan Yoga or Sankhya Yoga also it is called. So this is, they renounce fruits, they renounce work, and they are knowledge. They are into knowledge of matter and spirit. Yeah. And they perform austerity. Yeah. Then comes Ashtang. Ashtang, what is added to Gyan is, they meditation, the yoga system, right? And then comes the topmost to reach Krishna, Bhakti Yoga, or we also call it sometimes, Krishna refers it as Buddhi Yoga. Okay. So Buddhi Yoga is working in loving devotion to Sri Krishna without any attachments. Yeah? Our attachment is only towards Krishna, not to material things. Yeah? And similarly, we have explained here to make it better, whichever suits your, this thing. So Karma Kanda is, they act according to the scriptures. Nishkam Karma Yoga, they follow the scriptures, but they are detached to the results, okay, of the work. And then comes Dhyan Yoga, they follow the scriptures, they are detached to, they don't do any action, detached to work and results both. And they are knowledge, they have knowledge, that's their goal, yeah. And then comes Dhyan Yoga, so they follow scriptures, there is a detachment, there is knowledge, but meditation is added. And can somebody tell me what will be in Bhakti Yoga added to all these? Because these all is in Bhakti Yoga also, but what is the extra factor?
Love. Faith.
Love. Connecting to Krishna. Connection.
Yes. And how will we connect? Through our love.
Love.
Right? So Bhakti Yoga, we have scriptures. We are detached to anything which is, not taking us towards Krishna. And we are attached to that which is taking us towards Krishna.
Can I have one question? Sorry for interruption.
Yeah. Sure,
Actually, what I am noticing, like we are like in daily life, we are like worship, and we make some expectation as well. Okay, so it's like continuous faith is very important, because sometimes what happened, if we wish something we did not get it, then our like motivation get down or something like that. But we have to faith. So faith is also connecting with the God like that. And yeah, that is my question. And also my another question is like, I have a faith, I believe, but it's time longer. So how I will, make my mind prepare that how I will, further keep faith if
So
I'm
we
losing.
learned this progressive stages of ladder, if you remember, bhakti stages, right? So the first one was Shraddha, which was faith.
Right.
So faith, yes, faith is the preliminary qualification for us to understand, to start our journey in spirituality, right? So faith, yes, we have the faith, and this faith, if we notice ourselves, it's a bit unsteady, right? Unsteady at times, right? And when things happen good with us, we are really, we have that steady. But when we undergo, difficulties or problems, it's shaky. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we discussed in that progressive stages of ladder. That first one was Shraddha, right? And then how we make that Shraddha stronger. The next stage we reach is Sadhu Sangha, right? The association of devotees, understanding, what we are doing right now, Gita, understanding and internalizing it, and associate. And then we went to the stage of bhajana kriya, right? And then we had a stage there, which was the fifth one, which was nishta. Nishta is that that steady faith which we develop, and for us, that's why we say, Prabhupada used to say, just do chanting, do the chanting and be happy. Because as we do chanting, as we glorify the Lord, then that kind of starts clearing, our thought process. It makes us stronger. It clears that kind of dust which is sitting on a mirror since long time. And then, the faith starts more steady. And then slowly we start developing. It's like a gradual elevation. Then we slowly start, once that steady faith in that journey, we start, getting more selflessness rather than selfishness. Yeah. So does that answer your question? Or I'll ask, or maybe if we have Jyoti ji?
Yes. So yes, we have to faith and wait for that. Still, what I'm getting till now, this only, that nishta and keep chanting.
Yes, yeah. So we have to continue with our, chanting, reading, and hearing. That will make us, walk more towards. It will purify us more and more, and then that knowledge,
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to. That's the reason why we say everything starts from chanting. Don't, I always hear this, that just chant. Don't think of the problem, and then let me finish this problem and then chant. Just chant and rest will be taken care. So just continue chanting and rest things will start, slowly falling in place. And like I said, it's more experiential at our individual level. As how we grow, it is amazing to see ourselves.
Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for asking as well. So with this, now we finally come to the third section of today's chapter, which is Sakam Karma, right? Which is asked by Krishna for Arjuna to do. So Arjuna was fully depressed. We know that he stepped back. He didn't want to fight, and first instruction Krishna clearly gave him that you are not this body, none of the people, on the field, we are not this body, we are soul, right? And Krishna also highlighted in the last session that, we all are eternal, and we all have our own individuality, right? So here, now in this section, Krishna takes Arjuna slowly now to the higher level. Now, Arjuna running away, not fighting, would have been a sinful action, right? He's not doing his duty, right? So from sinful action, now Krishna is slowly making him climb the ladder to next level, which is Sakam Karma. Yeah. Now, no, so yeah, so one needs to now moving just, yeah. So what was Sakam Karma? I have just put this as a reminder here. They are fruited workers. If they just perform their duties, you know, they expect result, right? They do the work and they expect result. They want results. And that, you know, they follow the Vedic scriptures, and that's why they reach to heaven victorious, right? Now, that's what Krishna is going to tell Arjuna here. So, I should have rather asked this, but will one of you give me, anyone who have not spoken so far, give me the 5 reasons Arjuna didn't want to fight? Maybe you can even read this line. I'll go with the names then, maybe better. Biswaji, will you be able to?
Sure, yeah. Hare Krishna. So, yeah, and no enjoyment if there is a victory, fear of sinful reactions, and destruction family traditions. The whole family will be kind of a finished with the war, and indecisiveness.
Yeah.
The last one.
Thank you. So like we see, you know, in this slide, we mentioned that the first reason was compassion. We covered it. You know, the verses, first chapter, 28 to 30th shloka, Arjuna asked that questions. And Krishna addresses them. We covered this, 2.11 to 30. Now today, no enjoyment, even if victorious. Krishna will cover it in 2.31 to 37. Yeah. Now here in this section answers Arjuna's second reason, right? He said that if I kill my relatives, I'll not be able to enjoy. Yeah, and Krishna tells in this section that if you don't fight, you will not be able to enjoy them, right? You'll perform sinful action. So let's quickly move to further. So this is 2.31 shloka, where Krishna highlights Arjuna about his swadharma, which is the material duty. Yeah. So swadharmam api chaveksha na vikampitum arhasi dharmadhi yuddhashtrayo anyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. So Hari Krishna ji, will you be able to read the English translation?
Yeah, yes, Mataji. Considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles. And so there is no need for hesitation.
Thank you. I can hear you today. Thank you. So right here, Krishna is again highlighting Kshatriya, right? We know what is a Kshatriya. Kshat means harm, and Triya means someone who can save from that harm. So a Kshatriya is, you know, saving people from harm, right? So here Krishna is highlighting that it is Arjuna's duty, you know, he's a Kshatriya. And Krishna in 4th chapter also highlights that he has, you know, given 4 classes, right? He has divided into 4 classes, which is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, right? So, and Arjuna being a Kshatriya, he cannot, you know, his main duty is to fight. How can he run away from his main duty? And he mentions here, you know, a word called as Vikampitun, yeah, Kampana. So that means trembling. Yeah, Arjuna was trembling due to his internal weakness. Yeah? So Krishna will now, you know, he's taking him from the down, the most bottom part of the ladder to eventually the gradual upliftment, you know. So he's trying to now say, Arjuna, that do your duty as a Kshatriya. That is your Sakam, right? Sakam karma is what? So, you know, your prescribed duties as per the scriptures. Yeah, Sakam karma. So Sakam karma is doing prescribed duties in adherence to Vedas, scriptures. Yeah. So even when you do that, what would you, it will help you to also gradually purify yourselves. So Krishna is trying to say that you don't need to worry, you don't need to tremble, because you are just doing your swadharma. As a, swadharma is your duty, primary duty as a Kshatriya, right? And there is no, why he says there is no better engagement, he is trying to say there is no greater glory for a Kshatriya to fight. He getting an opportunity to fight in such a big war. Then that in itself is a glorious, right? Even if he fights the war, even if he loses, but he has done his prescribed primary duty. Yeah. So he, for long term, for Arjuna, it is good that he performs his prescribed duty. Otherwise, it will be sinful. Now, with that said, we have, we just want to highlight that we have two types of duty. Many of us have a thought process that, I am a mom, I'm a dad, we have a relationship. Our duty is only that. If I do my duty well, that's it. Everything is checked off. So we are, it is very important for us to understand that we have two types of duty or dharma. One is that, we need to understand God is only spiritual. We know Krishna, we mentioned last time also that Krishna is transcendental, divya, right? So he's full, full of bliss, right? Eternal, full of knowledge. So, and then we also know by now that matter is totally material. Yeah, this whole body, is material, right? Human beings, let's say us, we are a combination of both spiritual and material component. Hence, we should obviously have two types of duty, both spiritual and material. And what is the spiritual thing in us? The soul. And the material is the body and this material. Okay? So we have mentioned here, so material are, something like relatives, friends, society. Spiritual is our constitution, soul, yeah, duty, which is towards Krishna. Right? So we need to make sure that we do both of these. Both of these needs to be done harmoniously. Yeah. So many people, have the thought process that, if somebody is performing bhakti, then, it's like they will leave everything and go. But we have to always remind ourselves, Krishna never gave the scope for this, right? So he always, if that was the case, Arjuna was running away from his duty, right? Prescribed duty. So Krishna would have let him. But, the whole Gita was spoken so that Arjuna doesn't take that step and he performs his duty. Right? But just doing that duty, we need to also make sure that we learned the story of the queen with that cage, golden cage. So we need to make sure that we also take care and nourish our soul, just not the body. Yeah. And the soul will be nourished only by doing spiritual activities. So what is dharma? Dharma is something which cannot be given up. It's a constant companion. Can we take away the saltishness from salt or liquidity from water? No, right? So they are the primary basic thing, right? So now when we look around us, what is it that we feel within us we cannot separate? What is the, what is that which we tend to do default? It is our natural tendency. Does anything come in your mind? Something which we do default to others in our day-to-day life. Okay, so it is service and love. We see we are all serving one or the other person in different capacities throughout the day. When we see our day, these are the two main components, right? So we see this person working in pharmacy. Why is he doing this? Because why he's doing that service, for others by giving that. But at the same time, why? Because he loves his family and friends and relatives, right? Yeah, he wants to serve them by work, right? So that he can take care of his family. Yeah, and we see in if anybody does not have a family, we tend to even have pets, right? And what is the thing with pets? The same thing. In any case, you see, these two components cannot be separated from us. It is like default, service and love with us. Yeah. And What are all these punctuated by? By death, right? So that is the reality. Okay. So next, we are, so this service and love, when for those relationships, it is punctuated by death, where is it eternal then? To Krishna, right? So we have to dovetail our default components in us, which is our love and service, to Krishna. Yeah, we love all and serve all, but we should keep, Krishna in center of what we do. Okay, so Krishna is eternal, soul is eternal, and the loving relationship between the two is also eternal. That eternal love and service is called Sanatana Dharma. That is our dharma. Yeah. So we have to do all our duties, in such a way that we keep Krishna in center. Moving further, I do realize it's 12:30. So so this is a shloka in Bhagavatam. It's really very, very nice and eye-opener as well. So maybe Harshita, will you?
Yeah. Those who are interested in reviving Krishna consciousness and increasing their love of Godhead do not like to do anything that is not related to Krishna. They are not interested in mingling with people who are busy maintaining their bodies, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. They are not attached to their homes, although they may be householders, nor are they attached to wives, children, friends, or wealth. At the same time, they are not indifferent to the execution of their duties. Such people are interested in collecting only enough money to keep the body and soul together.
Right. So it's pretty strong message here, right? So we have to try our best to, have dovetail. When we say dovetail our activities to Krishna, we have our prescribed duties, right? As mom, dad, right? Like I said, in different capacities, and we should perform that. And we have had, please, we should always be aware that we have had such millions of families in our previous millions of birth, and we'll be having it in future also. And this is just one of those, right? But the only thing which is eternal relationship with us is with Krishna. So if we don't follow bhakti path, then we will end up having much more millions of lives and such families to take care of in future. Yeah? And we also learned how human birth is so precious. Out of that 8,040,000, I think it was 84 lakhs, right? So out of all these different species, we have got this human birth. We have taken birth in all these as well, maybe. So we shouldn't be neglectful to our family or society. We should perform our responsibility, but we should do them in such a way that it doesn't take us away from our primary responsibility, which is to serve Krishna. We need to learn to maintain a balance, not to deviate. And our, to hit that primary goal, it should be clear in our mind, right? Like even serving our family, we should serve it because of the thought process that this family is given by Krishna to us, right? So keeping Krishna in center. If we have to read something, rather than reading something else, we can read, scriptures, right? Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. Yeah. Then dovetailing our activities to Krishna. And here it is very clearly mentioned that how, person interested in reviving the Krishna consciousness is not interested to mingle with non-devotees. The association is highlighted here, right? They do their prescribed duties, but they are not attached to their family, friends, and everything. Yeah, and they don't want to be entertained by having a wrong, a non-devotee association. Where they would like to have a devotee association where they get more understanding of Krishna, where the talks are around. Again, Krishna is in the center, right? And they when it comes to earning, they just earn the amount they need to have their family, taken care of family. For themselves, not that every time there's a new target in mind, I want to buy this big house, big car, so less of material stuff. It is only the amount which is enough to maintain a life, a healthy spiritual life as well. Yeah? So just moving further then, So further, we have these two shlokas. Jyotiji, will you like to read them?
Yes. If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins of neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death.
Thank you. So Krishna is telling Arjuna what will happen if he's going to fight. Yeah. If he, that is his primary, that is his dharma, right? Fighting, doing the prescribed duty as a Kshatriya. And if he does not do that dharma, he will incur sin. Yeah. So it's like we gave the example before, a doctor, he has that responsibility that he neglects to treat a patient. Because why? They are afraid of some blood or something, right? Similarly, if a Kshatriya neglects to protect their citizens, that is definitely sinful, right? So he also highlights here that you will lose the fame. So, people will criticize him. Yeah. And when somebody is infamous, we all know it stays for a long time in this world, right? It keeps being spoken about. Yeah. So Krishna is kind of telling him a universal truth, that it is going to stay long when you become infamous, right? Not that Krishna is not, encouraging here that we work like cats and dogs, stretching day and night. No, you have to do your duties and, and the primary duty, right, as well, along with the secondary. So as, as devotees also, Arjuna was a great devotee, right? So as a devotee, we also have a responsibility that, we are not much concerned about our reputation, but we should be worried about the reputation of Krishna, because when somebody sees you and you're following spiritual practice, then if we are doing something wrong, it is pointed towards Krishna. So we as devotees should be very careful in our conduct, yeah, as it will be pointed to Krishna if we go wrong, right? Arjuna is running away, thinking of running away, not fighting. It's only the close ones who know the real truth as why somebody is doing some action, right? But others will think that he was a coward. So others will make fun of him. They will criticize him, right? Because they don't know the real reason and they wouldn't be bothered to know the real reason. That's how it is in today's world as well. Your close ones might know why exactly you did something at that particular point, and they understand, but not necessary that, others do, right? So then, this shloka more or less covers what I just mentioned. So Kavya ji, will you be able to read this?
Yes, Hare Krishna. The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you?
Right. I just mentioned this, right? So we should not do any action which can develop a perception, wrong perception for others, right? So, and we should, avoid to do something, because it's very easy, when somebody else does the same action as we do, like somebody else is sleeping, more, but we always, we don't miss the chance to point, oh, this person is very lazy. But when it comes to us, when we do it, we have our own reasons. Oh, because I was so busy, I was running this, I was running that, right? So we should not have a perception developed as well, right? So yeah, this is the last shloka for today. So Krishna now highlights, this is like the Sakam Karan basic, right? So perform your duties as per the Vedas and you will get results and you will go to higher planets. That's what we learned in the yoga ladder, right? When it comes to Sakam Karan. Now, this is what Krishna highlights to Arjuna in this whole section, right? That he, in this shloka, he says, there is benefit for you either ways, So with looking at a result, you should just go ahead and fight. right? So the shloka goes like hato va prapsyasi swargam jitva va bhokshase murham tasmad uddhishta kanteya yudhaya krita nishchayah. So just give me a second. My screen is stuck. Kritika, will you be able to read this?
Sure. Hare Krishna. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight.
Thank you. So here we see Krishna is basically saying it's a win and win situation for Arjuna. You know, that if he fights, he will, and if he wins, he will get to rule this earthly kingdom. The result is great. You know, he's going to end. And if he loses, because he has done his prescribed duties as per the Vedas, and he, for a Kshatriya to die in the battlefield while doing war, while doing their prescribed duties, he will attain heavenly planets. So there is a result which is attractive as well. Yeah. So that's why Krishna is saying that you should stick to your duty. Yeah. Now, why is Krishna glorifying heavenly planets here? When we say heavenly planets, we say it's like Svarga, right? Svarga, Satyaloka. There are many heavenly highly planets. So why is Krishna highlighting here? It's not that he's saying that's the topmost, right? He's taking, we should always remember, you know, don't just pick up one shloka from Bhagavad Gita, like I said before, you know, otherwise we'll misinterpret it. Yeah, Krishna is taking knowledge, giving knowledge to Arjuna stepwise, right? Step by step. Now there is a gradual, he pulled him up from sinful action, which he was supposed to do, to sakam karma, showing him attractive, you know, that this is what you will get. You know, that is like gradually enlightening Arjuna towards the top. Yeah. So that's why he says this. So here we have just given for some of you, this might be an area of interest. I'll not go it fully in detail, but this is a map of one universe. Yeah, I'll of course share the slides and you can zoom it and you can have a look closely. But we see here that we are here, Bhurloka, earthly planet. Okay, and above us is Bhuvarloka, Svargaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka. So there are, you know, 6 further lokas, right? So these are the higher planets, it's mentioned here. Yeah. And then below Earth are lower planets. Yeah. Like Atala, Vitala, Sutala. We are very famously, we know about Patal, right? We hear about that is the most bottom one, right? That is the hellish planets. Okay. So we are here. Yeah. So Krishna is saying if you do Sakam, you will go to upper planets, higher planets. Okay. But the higher planets also have a specific duration based on the account we have put here in Earth, like a punya. We'll go there, we'll, you know, replenish that. I mean, we'll, as soon as we are close to finish that, we'll come back to again Earth. That's why earthly planet Bhurloka is very important. We fall back into this. Yeah. So, and we will, like we learned, we have the 8 body is gross, and the gross elements are 8: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego. This is the layers on each universe, okay, around each universe. And each layer, as we go up, it is 10 times thicker. That's what it is said. Yeah, 10 times more than the previous layer. Yeah, here it says, yeah. Each covering is 10 times the diameter of the previous covering. Yeah. So I'll not spend much here because we are hitting time, but of course, if any of you have questions, you can let us know. The top loka in one universe is Satyaloka, which is Brahmaloka. Yeah. So, and about this whole universe, please remember it is material. And this is the picture of one universe. We have innumerable number of universes. Mahavishnu, when he breathes, when he takes in the breath, all the universes are annihilated. Yeah, those specific. When he exhales with just one breathe, innumerable universes come out. And this is one of those universes. And behind you can see there are several. And above of this whole material universes is the spiritual world. So in future classes, we'll see how, how the map of spiritual world also looks like and where material world fits. Yeah. So with that said, yeah, just to go quickly the summary. So Krishna says that, to Arjuna that he'll be criticized as a coward by his opponent, so he should fight. And he reminds Arjuna that he gained so much of respect, right? Arjuna could defeat the demigods as well, had that power. He got the Pashupati Astra from Shiva and Indra also. And he was so capable that he also got from his own teacher, a weapon through which he can kill a teacher as well, his own teacher. So Arjuna was greatly qualified. Yeah. So Krishna says that, yeah, he reminds him of that he has so much of reputation. And then he says that he should not be running away from his prescribed duties. And this is the most important here, that performing prescribed duties, why do we need to perform our prescribed duties? Spiritual and material, because that helps our heart to be purified. Yeah. And will be, and slowly as it starts purifying, the knowledge will develop. Yeah, a clear knowledge of the soul, yeah, and our connection with the Supreme, yeah, as well. So once that knowledge is awakened, you will come to the stage of Bhakti Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, which is the devotional service. Yeah. So with that said, I would request you all, as we are now stepped into second chapter, to please, continue your chanting, the rounds you're doing, and we need to, like the yoga ladder, we need to start, gradually elevating ourselves, a bit more and more. And we see what is the benefit of it, right? As we do more of, chanting and reading and hearing, we will get purified. It's only for us. So we have to work it for us. Yeah, we are us in line with Krishna, so that we can, yeah. So with that said,